I'm Jaquanzi. I just got out of the midnight release for the Odyssey, directed by Christopher Nolan. And man, it's a good movie. It is by no means a bad film. Lots of it's all practical. I think if there's any CGI in there, I couldn't tell. Which is really cool. Real boats, lots of lots of water and sand and cool looking armor. Story was really good. I enjoyed the tell. It's pretty gripping. And all of the actors did a really stellar job. You could tell that everybody really acted their ass off with this film. You know, everyone in this film deserves some praise for their acting chops for sure. Because you can tell when everyone's with Christopher Nolan, you know, it's time to do their best. It's time to bring it home. It's time for a home run. And everyone, well, they hit it out of the park. And I'll give them that. But man, as a viewer experience, I really did not have a good time. As much as I appreciate the practical filmmaking and the lighting was either completely was real lighting, like based on like flames, and I don't know if they had actual lights set up anywhere or anything. I couldn't tell. It looked all very authentic, which is really cool. I could hardly see anything most of the time. This film uses a pretty shallow depth of field a lot of the time and really dark shadows. And at least from my viewing experience, yes, and I saw it on 70 millimeter film, I could hardly tell what the fuck was going on, which really pissed me off because I paid a premium format ticket price to go see this. You know, I don't have real IMAX, which is really sucky too when these films get shot in IMAX and there's like less than fucking 10 theaters available to go and actually see this in the format it's meant to be watched in. But I gotta pay $20 for like a half-ass version of how it's intended to be viewed. You know, even if I go see it in IMAX, which is like, I'm still missing like 40%, 50% of the frame, which is fucking, it's just stupid. I would take the black bars on the side and get the full frame if I meant I got to see how the movie was actually shot. That'd be cool. And yeah, I mean, all the action was done in dark shadows. I can't even judge it. You know, I couldn't see any of the fighting most of the time. And even when there was action, it was either in dark shadows or there was a lot of movement in the camera with natural motion blur. I'm guessing it was shot at like 23 FPS. I think it was shot on film, so probably wasn't done at a high shutter speed or a high FPS. But yeah, I mean, most of the action wasn't visible. And I mean, it's a good looking movie, but I feel like if I want to actually see the film, see what I'm looking at, I'd have to buy it on disc and pop it into a Blu-ray drive and watch it on my home system. My fucking used Bravia XR I got off of Facebook Marketplace so I can actually see the film. Hopefully it's not just the same thing. Who knows? I might get a physical disc and everything might still be hidden in the shadows. So, I mean, that's pretty upsetting. You know, when you pay for a premium format and like 75% of the movie is either blurry with the shallow depth of field or just in the everything's in dark shadows. It's just kind of like, all right, cool. This is like the third or fourth time now I've walked out of a theater watching a fucking Christopher Nolan movie feeling that way. I saw Oppenheimer on film. I saw this on film, and I saw Tenet in theaters, and each of those movies I was like, what's going on here visually? Obviously Tenet and Oppenheimer were a lot more visible. Yeah, Oppenheimer and Tenet were obviously a lot more visible in the theater, not as crazy dark shadows from all the natural lighting, but still there's always just something about, I don't know, I guess I have to drive 3 hours to the nearest big city and pay $50 or $25-$30 for a ticket just to see how the movie's intended to be watched while everyone around the country gets a subpar version. Just fuck off. Thinking about the industry and the viewership as a whole, I feel like this movie's gonna get celebrated so much, not because it's fantastic, which it is, it's a well-made movie, but because everyone in the movie community is fucking deprived of real content, you know? I saw all these young people talking about how cool it was, and I was like, right, you know, the majority of these people's filmmaking experience is probably like Marvel movies and just Amazon Prime shows and Netflix shows and stuff. And so nowadays, when something has like a real set, it's not shot on a green screen, everyone's like fucking coming over it or something. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like the bar has just been set so low that when a movie has normal filmmaking, something that was normal 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, everyone just loses their shit and, you know, it's Oscar worthy. And no offense, Christopher Nolan, but you're not doing anything here that hasn't already been done hundreds of times over by actual filmmakers who had to deal with real sets or on location filming with real lighting. I don't know. I don't think it's really that great. I think it's a good film. I think in comparison to all the hot fucking trash we get filmed on green screens nowadays, it's a 20 out of 10. But if you just compare it to like Braveheart or Apocalypto, which would lead me to my next point, honestly, I think this film would have been helmed way better under Mel Gibson. Yeah, it would have been a way better film under Mel Gibson. So I don't want to spoil the story, but it's basically a story of someone's trying to get home. There's a political overthrow. There's these men at sea who are a big threat. And I do think you should go watch it. I don't know if you should see it in theaters. I feel like this whole, shot with IMAX cameras so like 90% of viewers can have a subpar experience is just a waste of fucking money. Yeah, I guess go watch it in theaters on a cheap Tuesday for like $5 to $8, because unless you can drive to Los Angeles or Seattle or someplace where all the hipsters are smelling their own farts, you're not going to get the right viewing experience. So there is one thing I really want to touch on, because again, I've said I think all the actors did a really phenomenal job. They really did. And I actually don't have an issue with the casting. You know, you hop on X and everyone on that platform is going to make this seem like it's going to, you know, be one of the most disrespectful films ever made to the Greek culture, which I understand where they're coming from. And I don't totally disagree with that, which I'll get to that here in a second. But all the actors in it killed it. They're probably one of the best parts of this film, even if I don't like the casting itself necessarily. It would have been cool to see like accurate representations of Greeks. You know, that's one of my favorite things about like I said, Apocalypto. I like that it's, you know, it's all the right people for the job. You know, they don't just look the part. They are genetically the part, and that's pretty cool to see in a historical piece. Now, a lot of people say that this is a fictional story, but they're not just mythological tales. To some of these cultures, it's history. And I think, you know, Greece deserves to have their stories told properly. Now, and I think this is a good way to tell the story, and I'm definitely going to go read the book, which hopefully if it's good, I'll do a review on that too. And I encourage everyone to read the book and see the movie, you know, because obviously it inspired Christopher Nolan to make this film, which the film is beautiful. Again, I wish it wasn't a subpar viewing experience. And the fact that I have to pay premium format for, again, a subpar experience is just, I don't know. I feel like I just got nickeled and dimed, you know? I feel like, I feel a little screwed over, you know? I don't like paying a premium price just to fucking not be able to see 60 to 70% of the film because of dark shadows and close shots and moving cameras and shaky camera and shit, basically. And, you know, and maybe some people didn't have that experience, but that's the experience I have. Maybe it's my brown eyes. Maybe I don't let enough light in or something. I don't fucking know. Doubt it. But there is something I need to talk about. So right here, I've got the website oscars.org/awards/representations and inclusion standards. Now, I'm just going to be very clear. Let's read through this together. Lead or significant supporting actors from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups. At least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors submitted for Oscar considerations is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group in a specific country or territory of production. This may include African American, Black, African, and or Caribbean descendant, East Asian, Hispanic or Latino, Indigenous people, Middle Eastern, Pacific Islanders, Southeast Asian, South Asian or Southeast Asian. At least 30% of all actors not submitted for Oscar considerations are from at least two underrepresented groups, which may include women, racial or ethnic groups, LGBTQ, people with cognitive or physical disabilities who are deaf or hard of hearing. A3. Main storyline / subject matter. The main storyline, theme, or narrative of the film is centered on an underrepresented groups: women, racial, ethnic group, LGBTQ, people with cognitive, physical disabilities. Basically, to be considered for the Oscars, you need to meet this very artificial requirement of inclusivity. And this is fucking stupid. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be like, Helen shouldn't have been black or whatever, this or that. I honestly don't care. They all did a really good job. But the moment you start crafting your film around what the Oscars wants for the sake of synthetic or artificial inclusivity, I don't care if you made a fucking 20 out of 10, it's a fucking 5 out of 10. The moment you give full reins of your creative control away to some bait-ass bitch award show from the Hollywood elite, yeah, Christopher, I have lost respect for you, my brother. Now, this is stupid, okay? This creates division, okay? I'm just going to stand on that hill. This creates division, bro. If it's a film about Greeks and Greek history and Greek mythology, it should have Greeks in it. And all this thing about representation and underrepresentation, bro, it's like, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. We're all human. That's it. That's it, bro. The more you divide up us into groups to isolate us and to lead these little tribal groups, the more division you cause. This is retarded. And if any director out there, including you, Christopher Nolan, makes any decision or writes their script around stuff like this, I immediately lose all respect for you. I don't care how much hard work you went through to make this film. I don't care that you had helicopters take people to the top of hills and down the hills. You ain't doing nothing that hasn't already been done before, but you are a cop-out. And to think that any filmmaker, I'm like, just for this false illusion award of nothingness from Hollywood, designing your film around that is just so pathetic. And I honestly, again, I don't even think the actors and actresses did a terrible job. They all really killed it. And I actually had no issues watching the film. But I do have issues with this. And I have issues with directors and creative people designing things around this. Now, not because it's inclusivity or whatever. We can have a big topic about that. Okay, what? These are minorities? Hey, guess what? And again, it's not even about race. I don't even want to talk about this. This is fucking stupid. But you want minorities in it? Hey, Europeans, white people, only make up 8 to 10% of the entire global population. They're the minority of the whole planet. Yeah, but there's not a single Caucasian or anything on this fucking list. No, because it's racist and sexist and stupid. To divide any of us up like this into groups and force it into fucking people's throats is discrimination. If you're making any decision based on something extremely superficial and shallow as skin color, sexuality, any of that, for good or bad, if you're hiring people based on that decision or firing people or not hiring people on that decision, either way, it's discrimination. It's racist and sexist, and I will stand by that. We choose people based on their merit and their actions. Now, everyone in this film had the merit, and everyone, again, home run. But now I can't justifiably say that they earned it, right? Now I have to be like, oh, okay, he chose these people because, oh, he wants an Oscar. Oh, because he always wins Oscars, and now he designs his films around Oscars and what the Hollywood, the disgusting Hollywood pedophile elites want him to put in his films. Sorry, but I mean, honestly, this film, I guess just to get to my point, from a theater viewpoint, that was like a 6.5, maybe a 7. I wish I could see the film. Maybe at home, if it's all visually clear and it's a better viewing experience, I could bump that up to an 8. But because Christopher Nolan is a sellout and does pseudo-artificial inclusivity in his films because he wants to shove a golden Oscar up his ass, it goes down from a 6-7 to a 4 or 3. And I can't recommend that you go and spend your money on this on anything other than a discount day. You know, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's not like I'm not a fucking Twitter racist guy. I don't care, truthfully. If this said, yes, it has to be Caucasians, the minority of the planet, and the whole film is filled with Caucasians, I would have an issue with that. Big time. The only way I wouldn't have an issue with this film is if it didn't include anything from what the Oscars were demanding. The Oscars shouldn't even have standards like this. And the fact that $1 million film, I don't even know the budget for this fucking movie, but the fact that these high budgeted films are being designed around these standards at all makes you a fucking sellout. Christopher Nolan, I'm sorry, but you have sold your intellectual dignity and you have sold your soul to Hollywood, and I do not respect that by any means. So, you know, as a film, 7-8. As a thing of its time, it's social media entertainment, yeah, it's a fucking 4. Fuck the Oscars and fuck sellouts. And honestly, Christopher Nolan, how you have fallen. It's not even like, I mean, I've always just thought it was pathetic to design your films around the Oscars, but now it's like, you know, and you can always tell, you watch a movie and you're like, oh, okay, this is Oscar bait. This movie is 999% Oscar bait. Call me a hater. Do what you will. But I will die on that hill. And no, I don't think this is worth your money at a theater. Unless you could drive to Seattle or Los Angeles and spend $50 to $100 just to see the movie, how it was shot, intended to be viewed. Yeah, fucking stupid. What has happened? And honestly, again, there's nothing this film isn't doing that hasn't already been done hundreds of other times. And, you know, I'll stand on that. I'll stand on it. So, I don't want to go for too long here. I think I've said what I had to say. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. And hopefully Hollywood, I mean, I don't think it's ever going to get better. This is what we get. We get green screen slop, lazy ass films, superhero overload, and then one film every 3 to 4 years shot on location with practical effects that everyone can fucking masturbate to and jizz over. Ooh, blah. So, I don't know. It's very disappointing. And this 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 film is really a 4 or a 5. That's what happens when you sell out. This is The Corner. I'm Jaquanzi. Stay around for more reviews.